Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to African Art Talks with Eric. It's Eric here, and I'm so happy to come your way. Today is another Saturday where we talk about all things African art and everything to do with creativity from that continent. Africa is a great continent, and everything that comes out of there is great too. I'd like to celebrate that. So today, I've got someone who will blow your mind with his artworks. But before then, let me tell all of you, for those of you who've joined us for the first time, what this show is all about. It's a show to promote Africa. It's a show that promotes and educates us about the creativity from that continent. And it's a show also to promote each other. So today I'm going to bring a guest on board, a guest who I respect so much and I have known and followed since I was young. I really appreciate his work. I follow him diligently because of his commitment to the aspect of creativity. So I'll tell you a bit about my guest today, and then we will bring him back on show. So let's do that. Right. So my guest is Wiz Kudowor, and he's alumnus of the Art College in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, which is in Kumasi, Ghana. His works reflect the modern African environment and a continuous search for fulfillment and identity. Now, he's constantly searching for a creative expression that handles the surge of creative energy and inspiration that streaks across the minds of a visionary modernist. Wiz is a member of the Artist Alliance Gallery, which is in Ghana, and he has exhibited widely in Ghana and has participated in various major international exhibitions. He has won many prizes, including the Osaka Triennial Bronze Prize and the Ghana Airways Silver Jubilee Art Contest. He also designed and sculpted the relief work on the facade of the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. So that's great. Now, I can go on and on and on and on and talk about him, but I would like him to tell us about himself. So I'll be bringing him on shortly. At the moment, he's connecting to the network, but as soon as he connects, I'll bring him on. So let me carry on. Now, his collection is all over the world, in Africa, in American Museum, in Dallas, in Texas, Osaka Prefecture, Contemporary Art Collection, Osaka in Japan, Ministry of Culture, in the People's Republic of China. His work is in everywhere, in the Jubilee House of Ghana, the Presidential House, in Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, Standard Chartered Bank, Day Foundation, and Ghana National Museum, on and on and on and on. He's been in the industry for more than 40 years, so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So let me try and bring him on and not waste time. But for all of you who's joined us this afternoon, welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to comment in the comment box and let me know whether you can hear me as well. Actually, let me check on my phone to make sure I can hear myself before I bring him on, because I don't want to miss anything that he says this afternoon. I am going to be learning as well. So let me check and make sure that everything I'm saying is being reflected online as it's supposed to be. Bear with me. Let me check. Right. So the sound is great. Everything is set. Let's all welcome. Welcome, sir. I call him Master Wiz. Can you hear me okay?
The line is
not great.
The line is so bad.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect from the earpiece. And then we'll take it from there. So let me disconnect from the earpiece. Right. So there we go.
Okay.
Can you hear me right now?
It sounds better.
It sounds a bit better.
Definitely better.
So let me check if the feedback is still in. Yeah, there's a bit of feedback. So let me try with the earpiece on. If that will cut out the sound.
Yeah.
I can hear. So I'm going to connect with it. Okay. Is the sound better?
Yeah, there's some vibration, but I'm sure we can deal with it. Yeah.
We can deal with it. Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me check. whether you can hear me.
Whether you can hear me all right. We can deal with it.
It's true.
Okay.
Okay, you can hear me all right.
Earphone. Because he's
He has the earphone on.
no, the other guy. There's another person.
So guys, bear with us.
So guys, bear with us. I think
Sorting out a
we
few
are sorting out a
technical
few technical work,
and then we'll get
and
rolling.
then we'll get rolling.
So Master Wiz, can you hear me?
So Master
If
Wiz,
you
can you
hear
hear
me?
me? If you
I'll
can
allow
hear
you to
me,
speak more because when you
I
speak,
hear
I'll allow
you.
you to speak more because when you speak.
I hear you. Yes. There's
Okay.
a slight
Okay,
drag, but I hear you. Yeah.
great. That's the thing with technology,
great.
unfortunately.
That's the thing with technology,
Viewers, you
unfortunately.
have to bear with us. Today's
Viewers,
technology
you have to bear
is
with us.
giving us a
Today's
bit of a
technology
problem,
is
but
giving us a
we
bit
will
of
forge
a
on.
problem, but we will forge on.
So Master Wiz,
So
I
Master
introduced
Wiz,
you earlier,
I introduced you
but for
earlier.
those around the
Yeah.
world
For
that don't know
those
who
around
you
the world
are,
that don't know who you are,
can you please tell us
can you please
about
tell us
Master Wiz, please?
about Master Wiz, please?
Yes, I'm Wiz, as everybody else knows, and I'm an artist who's been in Ghana or was bred and brewed in Ghana.
Okay.
Okay.
I've had my beginnings in Ghana from when I was about 6 years old. I've been drawing and painting,
Oh wow.
and I transitioned from there to Keta Secondary School, and that is where I actually started becoming really interested in pursuing an art career.
Right.
And I was encouraged by a lot of, in fact, I had two art teachers at the time, and they both encouraged me. One during my lower years in secondary school, and the other in my final 2 years. And they both encouraged me very well. So I became convinced that this is what I want to do with my life. And so from there, from Keta Secondary School, I went straight on to the University of Science and Technology, which is now KNUST.
That's correct.
To do my pre-art course in art. And that was for 2 years. And so I was accepted into the degree program, and I followed it for 4 years. So I actually spent 6 years on the College of Art, and came out with my first degree.
That's right.
In painting.
That's right.
I actually intended to pursue a master's program,
Okay.
and went to the US to Temple University, actually,
All right.
but then changed my mind
All right.
on arrival in the US, and decided to just go and pursue a full-time practice. But when I came back to Ghana, I was encouraged to go back to teach.
Okay.
So I went to teach for 5 years at the Kosomo International School, and trained a lot of young guys who have now become artists in their own rights.
Right.
Basically, after 5 years, I just thought that I was ready to take on the challenge of full-time practice.
I can imagine.
And so I came back to Accra and settled into my father's house to try and, occupy myself with the dynamics of becoming a full-time artist.
Right.
So from about 1988 to now, I've been in full-time practice.
Oh wow.
You know,
Oh wow.
I've been involved in several group exhibitions, locally and internationally, and about 20-25 solo exhibitions.
It's remarkable.
My first solo exhibition came up in 1990 when I appealed to the then Center for National, well, it's still Center for National Culture in Accra, to give me 3 days on their calendar to have an exhibition. And they agreed because they were my colleagues and friends from the College of Art, who were then administrators at the place.
That's right.
So they gave me 3 days, and in 3 days, I did all my publicity, all my invitations, put works together to have an exhibition, and it was really very successful. It was a very successful exhibition. Those days, you couldn't get people to sponsor your exhibition, so you try to do it yourself. You try to put in money to do everything yourself, which was not an easy thing to do, but we did. And it was really very successful. From that exhibition, I got commissions to do the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, the relief mural at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park.
Yeah.
And other commissions in some hotels and companies in Accra. So I roped in a couple of my friends to help me put those things together. That was my beginning.
Wow.
And that helped me to kind of establish myself, in the system.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, going back to the childhood days, did you face any challenge? Because we know that in Africa, if you want to be an artist, it's looked down upon. Especially parents don't really understand why you should take that as a profession. Because they think that you might not get any financial rewards from it. Did you face any such challenges?
That is a very relevant point you raised, because when I got to the College of Art, that I realized that people actually faced such challenges. Because my parents were educationists, and they encouraged me from the very beginning. They bought me every material I needed. When they saw that this is
very,
what.
very lucky
you.
Yes.
Very lucky you.
And so when I got to the College of Art, and people told me their stories about the challenges they've had with their parents and all that. Some people were even disowned by their parents because they pursued art.
I can believe that.
And yes, I had a few friends who were that, unlucky. So it actually gave me a sense of gratitude, if you know what I mean, because I realized that I was very fortunate to have parents who really understood what I want to become.
You
wanted to do basically.
Even if they didn't understand, they realized they couldn't stop me from. They couldn't put impediments in my way.
In your way.
In your way. Yeah. So. That had a profound effect on me, and so I didn't take it for granted at all. Yeah.
That's very good. With regards to parents of these days, what would you
say
in terms of encouraging them because the issue is still there. It hasn't gone away. Parents are still. Some of them are discouraging their children from pursuing art. What would you say to encourage them?
I'll tell you what. Art happens to be is an area where people still don't understand what it holds for them. So, of course, parents will still want to direct their words into other areas that seem to provide more security for them in the future.
Yes.
And so I don't blame parents for doing that. But things have changed a lot. There's a lot of change going on, because
True.
now parents come to me to ask me how their kids can get into this and properly, to get into it properly. They want me to encourage
them.
their kids
Train
in that direction, which
Yeah.
which is different from what has happened, what was happening in our time.
That's
So
very true.
I think that
That's very true.
that the things are changing. So I think that parents are beginning to understand, what art holds
Mm.
for humanity. They are beginning to find, and and especially that there's now the internet
The
that
internet.
allows parents to research a bit more
Yes.
into these things and know
Yes.
what is happening currently.
That's true.
So they are beginning to encourage their kids to do that. So for me, I think that it's for the good of the profession, actually.
Definitely. It's for the good of the profession, and rightly said.
Definitely for the profession,
Because
rightly said.
as they go on the
Because
internet, they see the
as they go
prospect
on the
of it.
internet, they
So
see
if it's financial
prospect of
security
it.
aspect of it,
So if it's
they know that
financial
artists are
security
making
aspect of
money.
it,
Yeah.
they know that
If
artists are
it's
making money.
Yes.
respect,
If
they know
it's
that artists are respected
respect,
worldwide.
they know that artists are respected worldwide.
Yes. Because to let me put in this. When I decided to take this up full time and leave my teaching so that I can come and practice full time, there was only one other person who was then practicing full time,
Okay.
apart from some of these art schools that you have a couple of artists setting up. There was only one artist who was actually painting full time.
In Ghana.
If I have to limit it to the painting which I belong to,
Aspect of it. Yes.
and that's Danny Manford was the only one at the time
was
who
it
had
Danny?
started doing that, and then I came in,
Okay.
and then because of the two of us, a lot of the students who were coming out of Ghanata became bold enough to plunge themselves into full-time practice.
Full time. Yes.
Full time. Yes.
Which was exciting to see in those days.
Mhm.
Because before our time, there was nobody to look up to. Every artist you see was either teaching or doing some other job and doing the art on the side.
Mm.
But after us, almost, I would say half of the class of every year from Ghanata
Became a
plunged
full-time artist.
themselves
Became
into
a full time artist.
full-time practice. So that was exciting. I
That's
just
great.
thought I should
So-
put that
That's
in
great.
perspective.
I think it's good to know that, because
I think it's
we
good
should
to
pay
know that,
homage to
because
those who
we
paved
should
the
pay
way.
homage to those who
Because
paved
if you
the
look at
way.
Ghanaian artists
Yeah,
these days,
definitely.
I would say that
Ghanaian
most
artists
of the
these days,
people
I would say
who
that
are
most
into
of the
art are
people
full-time.
who are into art are full time.
So
Yes.
thank you for paving the way.
So thank you for paving the way.
Well, um, I will have to thank my parents for giving me the strength
Exactly.
and encouragement.
So how long has it been?
So
I mean,
how
you
long
did
has it
mention
been? I mean, you
1980.
did
So
mention 1980.
calculating
So
it's over 40
calculating
years.
it's over 40 years.
45 years roughly.
45 years roughly.
That is practicing full time. Yes,
Wow, that is
Wow,
something
that
else.
is something else.
that's practicing full time. But of
Full-time.
course, I've been at it for much longer.
Much longer than that.
Much longer than that.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you a question,
I was
but
going to
I
ask you a
think this
question, but I
answers it
think this
already.
answers it
Because
already.
had you not been
Because
an
had
artist,
you
what
not been
else
an
would you have
artist,
been?
what else would you have been?
Oh, you see, I've never really thought about anything. Of course, let me put in this. When I finished my O levels, and was waiting for my results. Of course, at that point, my dad did encourage me to try to get me to, consider some other things,
Okay,
and have art as a hobby.
right.
Right.
But he wasn't pushing me to do anything. He was just having
Just
a
staying
friendly
considered.
Just being considered.
And so, as soon as my results came and I had admission to Accra Academy. He encouraged me, since I wasn't getting the admission that I was waiting for to go to the College of Art. He encouraged me to go to Accra Academy to go and register for the sixth form in Accra Academy. So I did 2 weeks
in Accra.
2 weeks in Accra Academy. As soon as my admission letter came for College of Art, I left without telling him. I didn't even tell him. I just packed my things and went to College of Art.
To the College of Art.
And wrote him a letter from there.
Wow.
So I didn't get to find out whether he was happy about it or not. But
or not.
By the time I came back, it was all sorted out. So
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
No,
but maybe that was because I actually did that well in my O levels, and so he knew that it wasn't for the lack of trying, So.
Oh yes.
So in actual fact, I was going to consider land economy at the time.
Right.
If I had gone through this, the A level. That's what I was going to consider.
You were going to consider.
Yeah.
In terms of mentorship, did you have any mentors growing up, or artists that you looked up to in your early years of practice?
Like I said, from the beginning, it was my high school or secondary school art teachers.
Right.
Of course, those days you don't find those art teachers. You can't even see their work. You don't see the kind of work they did.
They did, yes.
But at least they were there for me. Maybe because they saw something in me that I didn't know, I had. Yeah. But they were there for me in all aspects, like giving me access to the art department anytime I wanted to and stuff like that. So I respected them a lot for that, And then when I went to the College of Art, yes, there were a couple of lecturers and some of the older students who were, people who actually impacted, my life in terms of practice, Atude Laki is one of them.
Okay.
Leroy Mitchell, who was an African-American lecturer at the time.
Yeah.
And, and then there was Prosper Tewia, who was our basic design lecturer. I mean, that was one guy who actually directed us and built us up to have a strong foundation, in art practice. I have always believed that basic design is important for every artist development.
That's true.
Basic design, to understand what you are actually doing properly. Even if you are going to divert into other areas, the basic foundation should be there. And Prosper Tewia imparted that to us very much. Yeah.
That's great. Now
so
let's move on to your art and progression. I'd like people to see the kind of art that we're talking about. I know in your background you've got some of the pieces, wonderful pieces. But we would like to understand the philosophy behind what you do. And I'll put a quotation on here, and I'll let you explain what you mean by it. In one of your interviews, you said that I strive to satisfy my own wins. First in all these attempts, hoping eventually to attract neutral mind and interest. There is, however, room also for the viewer to transcend and relate to my work from his own perspective. In other words, I expect the work to prompt and extract the response from those who come into contact with it, even if it's negative. Can you throw more light on what you meant by this quotation?
Well, like I said, what I meant by that was that my work is basically about me as a person. It's about me. It's about my life. It's about my experiences. It's about my my joys and pains. It's about, what I feel on a daily basis.
Right.
So I don't really go out there to put work together or express myself hoping to impress anybody.
Yeah.
Now, if along the line I'm able to put work out there, which tends to, find mutual interest from other people, that is a bonus. That is exciting for me.
That's right.
I can have people relate to what I'm doing. But basically, it is for me to free myself, my mind, from a certain congestion, or put out some excitement that I feel, out there. And if somebody can relate to it, that is exciting, So that basically that's what it's about, So it's not that complicated.
No.
It is just me trying to be, trying to put myself out there. Let's put it this way. Just like I go along and try to make friends,
No,
whether the person will like me or not. Yeah. Whether the person will like me or not, it doesn't depend on what I do. I mean, I walk into a space and people either like me or they dislike me.
Or
That's
not.
it.
Or not.
Yeah, or not.
Same applies to your artwork.
Yes.
You put it out there,
My
and if
artwork,
someone can relate to it, the better. If not, you carry on doing what pleases yourself.
Yes, because I think that every artist is an individual.
Yes.
So you don't try to be somebody else. Whatever art form that comes to you naturally, that you can express yourself better in, is what you should do.
Exactly.
Because in every field, let's take engineering. You have engineering. Yes. That's why we have mechanical engineering, we have electrical engineering, we have other.
So many aspects.
So many aspects. So as an artist, stick to what you are capable of doing.
Exactly.
Put yourself out there, put yourself in your work, and this is what people will relate to. You understand? So if you go trying to be somebody else, you are in trouble, because you can't carry it further than a few works that you do.
A few works.
That's
true. You can't sustain it.
Yes, you can't sustain it. So I try to advise people to be themselves. To find themselves.
So is that the main philosophy behind your work? And is that what really inspires you to keep painting? Because I know you paint daily.
Yes. I mean, basically that's what it is. I mean, in everything I do, that's what it is. And the thing is that in the beginning, yes, I went through the normal stages that all beginning artists will go through. I tried to be to do work that will be pleasing to people.
True.
So that I can sell and get some money for my pocket, because the money is important.
Very important.
So, hey, I went through that stage. And you see, in the beginning, I came out to work that were exciting, and people were actually buying a lot of that. And so I continued to do it for a while. Then I realized that it wasn't exciting anymore.
You're losing yourself.
I needed to loosen up and find something meaningful that will give me a certain pleasure, a certain relief, And so that is where everything changed for me.
It changed.
I went back into myself to find me, So it has been about me since then, And unfortunately, you don't get to sell, a lot more.
True.
More than before. But hey, I'm happy to be doing what I love best. That's what it is.
That's the greatest satisfaction, for yourself, basically.
That's the greatest satisfaction, for yourself, basically.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
definitely.
So I'd like us to now see some of your work.
So I'd like us to now
and
see
then
some
talk
of
us
your work.
through your
Yeah.
And then
creative
talk
process,
us through your creative process
that you go through.
that you go
I'm
through.
going to show. I'll start showing pieces
I'll
of your work one at a time.
Yeah.
Audience, if
One
you
at a
join me,
time.
and I can see one
Audience,
audience
if you
who's
join me,
commented
and I
here.
can see one audience who's commented here.
Right, this is Jonathan. Jonathan, how are you doing?
This is Jonathan.
says
Jonathan,
Master
how you
Wiz.
doing?
So
Jonathan says Master
is
Wiz.
greeting you.
So Jonathan is greeting you.
He's always on my page with that.
Jonathan, hello to you.
Jonathan, hello to you.
So in terms of the creative process that you go through,
how
do you come up with these beautiful, thought-provoking pieces?
Well, most of the time, the idea comes up. It could be any idea. It could come up, maybe reading a book or listening to a program, and certain topics or certain suggestions by people will bring up an idea, and then I follow it through. That will what do you call it? Activate a certain mode in me, and then I go to the canvas trying to capture a certain essence, for posterity. Now, I also have other interests, like trying to explore what our dual state is like. As human beings, which is our spirit, being spirit, and being
in a human form, basically. Yes.
In a human form, basically.
Yeah,
yes.
So I try to explore that. This is an interest that I've held for a long time. Having read books on this, So for me, I've tried to get into my subconscious to see how I can, capture a certain essence along those lines for posterity. That's it. So some of the titles I give are reflective of that, and then more. Also, I try to be sure that anybody looking at my work will not make the mistake to think that it's from somewhere else, but from Africa.
But from Africa, exactly. And I can see elements in here in terms of symbols, shapes, forms, lines, colors, everything that depicts creativity from the continent of Africa.
Yes. I use them deliberately. I use them, unconsciously. I use them as motifs, just design elements, or for their meaning. Doesn't matter how.
Yes.
So if you don't mind, let's delve into the one on
the right hand side.
The one with the eye.
And
explain just a little bit about what is going on here, because there are so many layers behind
that painting.
What's the title of that work? It's a view from within. That's what I call it.
From within.
A view from within. That is focused on looking inside myself and trying to give people access to what is happening within me. That's it. Basically, that's it. I desist from expanding too much
on your paintings.
On my paintings, because I also want people to be able to. I don't want to take too much away from people, because when people access your work, you give them an opportunity to actually access it fully and get into it and get a feel of it. First of all, something has to strike them from the work for them to stand there and try to appreciate it. And you don't want to take away from that, so that you allow them to get in and get a feel of, especially if they are thinking of acquiring it. It's best to let them feel it, because if they are going to live with the work on a daily basis, they wake up, they should be able to find something new. You understand? So
True. That's very, very true.
That's how I construct my work to be, you know.
So you don't want
And
to limit them.
sometimes people don't believe that.
You don't want to limit them in terms of.
Yeah, I don't want to limit them at all.
Yes.
And sometimes people don't believe that a lot of the work I do also come, what do you call it? Most of the work starts accidentally, and then I build as I go along, you know.
All right.
So,
okay, so you don't really sketch
everything
everything before you start doing it.
No,
everything before you start doing it.
no, at all.
It's a very spontaneous
No,
idea that comes to your mind. You go to the canvas and then start building from there.
I go to the canvas
from there.
Yes, and a lot of the work develops that way, you know. So I build as I go along. You know, a lot of it comes from inside. You know, you start not knowing what you're doing, and then because I belong to this part of our existence, which is human, which is has form.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let's put it that way.
That's right.
You know, the identifiable things that I can use, you know, to add to what I put out there is what I do. You know, I don't limit myself to anything. I don't say it doesn't conform with my style. You know, I don't do that.
You don't do that.
That's not for me.
You don't do that.
This is me, you know, so
that's it. And then you just put
I don't say this doesn't conform to my style, so I limit myself. No, if the idea comes to me to use that, I use it.
You use it. You use
that's
it.
what I do.
Now I can realize that looking through your body of work, the female figure features a lot. Is there any reason why?
You know, this is a question I've answered over and over again. It keeps coming up, whether there are females in the work or not. It keeps coming up. I've always wondered why. But the only
I guess from my point of view, I'm fascinated with the how God created the female figure.
Yes, and that, and you should be, because at the end of the day, that is the most perfect form that has been created.
Exactly.
Nothing else has beaten that yet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it is not.
You've nailed it.
Yes, it is no surprise that artists over the years have always gone back to the female form for inspiration.
Yes.
You know, it is no surprise at all, because that's a form that is the most perfect or close. It's the most perfect form that has been created.
Perfect from a human point of view.
It's the most perfect from a human point of view.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, you know, so yes, why not? Why not?
Great. And you've described it so perfectly well in these two paintings. Can you give us the titles of these two, please?
Okay, one is a reclining woman.
Yeah.
And the other one is something to do with the cosmos. I don't keep these things in my head much.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, the other one
is something to do with the cosmos.
So many
it will be difficult to
just keep each one.
Yeah, it will be difficult to keep everything in my head.
Spontaneously, yes.
Yeah.
But in terms of trying to understand what's going on, I know you can't go to deeper level. The one on the left-hand side has a baby in the tummy. Is it to do with creation?
Yeah, that's part of the cosmos idea that I was talking about. You know,
right?
The creation.
Right.
Yeah, the cosmos idea. You see, the point is that we human beings are, we are, what do you call it? We are the cosmos we are the cosmos in a miniature form.
Yes, a miniature form. Yes.
Every human being, every individual, every individual is like
a creation in itself.
Encompass
a creation in itself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, completely. A complete creation in itself. encompasses everything that you can think of that belongs to the cosmos.
That's true. We are so complex.
So
That's true. We're so complex.
yes, we are complex human beings, and not all of us understand that aspect of it. So for me, putting that out there is also to help the understanding. Spread the understanding. If you ask me.
Of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of it. Yes.
Right. So now we're looking
Right.
at these
So now
two
we're
pieces,
looking at these two
which
pieces,
complement each other really,
which
really well.
complement each other really, really
And
well.
The African
And
symbols
these are some of
feature a
them.
lot
symbols
indeed.
feature a lot indeed.
These are some of the most recent ones.
Amazing.
Amazing.
It's like you have a language
It's like you have a
of your own.
language of your own.
Do you these symbols and all
these
that?
symbols
Have
and all
you
that?
created any
Have you created any
alphabets? Because
alphabets?
they keep repeating
Because
in
they
these,
keep
in
repeating in
these
these
paintings.
paintings.
Well, if you've worked for as long as I've worked
Mm.
and you haven't created a language, then you are in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place.
I
True.
think.
In the wrong place. That's true.
Because, well, I wouldn't say they are new. Don't get me wrong. I won't say I've created anything new.
Mhm.
But maybe the way I use them is what people see as me. Okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
Because, yes,
Yeah.
it comes from me. It's my signature. It's my
right.
fingerprint. It's
That's right.
what I've done over the years. So maybe I use them in a way that is different from any other person. But they are not new. Nobody's doing anything new in this world.
New under the
We
sun.
are all
Yeah.
just
Under the sun,
recycling.
yeah.
We are all just recycling new ideas,
Mm.
So, but at the end of the day, you look at them yourself. You mentioned that you look at them and you think maybe I've created something for myself, a language, a new language. Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. If you've worked as long as I've worked. People should be able to identify you in what you do.
It's true. Exactly that.
I mean,
Exactly that.
bottom line, yeah.
In one of your earlier
earlier
interviews, you did mention that your work
that
is not
your work
really
is not
abstract per
really
se.
abstract per se.
It's a reflection
It's a
of you.
reflection of you.
Now, a lot
Yeah.
of people
Now, a
perceive
lot of
it
people
as
perceive
abstract.
it as abstract.
I see a
I
bit
see
of reality
a
in
bit
it.
of
It's
reality
like
in
a
it. It's
fusion of
like a
abstract
fusion of
realism.
abstract realism.
What is your work?
What is your work? What language
are you portraying?
language are you portraying?
I try not to put myself in a
box.
A box.
in a straight jacket, in a what
Yeah.
I try not to do that. So I don't categorize. I let other people do the categorization as they please,
Yes.
Yes.
But I know that my work just emanates from me and reflects what my state of mind is at a particular time,
Right.
and reflects
Right.
what identity I want to put out there at a particular time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it is. So it's me, and for as long as it's me, it's not completely abstract. It only becomes abstract when you relate it to the
That movement, basically.
yeah, the inner, not even the movement.
Not even the movement.
When you
Okay.
relate it to the aspects of our lives that we don't understand very well, because that I explore that. I explore the boundaries of state of spirituality, and the boundaries between the spiritual and physical state. So I'm not saying I'm fully immersed in the spiritual, but because I don't think I want to as yet. I'm still trying to see what the boundaries are. I'm pushing the envelope to see how far I can go with those things. So maybe when you look at it in that aspect, in that respect, then it becomes abstract a bit. So it depends on where you're standing. You see abstract, and then on another level, you can relate to it as a realistic.
Across all your paintings,
paintings,
symbolism plays a major role, and specifically African symbols.
Very important, yeah.
That's right. Can you tell us a bit about the role of symbolism in Africa, if you don't mind?
Well, it's a symbols that have given us a certain perspective of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
In present time, if the symbols had not existed, we wouldn't know, we wouldn't know our history. We wouldn't have a perspective into what we were before, as a people. So they are very significant place there, because some of these symbols carry proverbs that guide our lives, guided our lives in the past and still do presently, so they are significant. So when I hear people say that, oh, you are overusing symbols, I'm like, hey, for all these years we've been presented with white Jesus Christ for so long.
Yes.
It's still here with us. Nobody is saying we are overusing it.
True.
But as soon as I start using my own, that comes from my own backyard, I am overusing it.
They have an issue with it.
Yes, that it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not going to fight that. I just continue to use what I have because it makes sense to me. It makes much more sense to me than any other. That's the only reason. Okay, I'm not going to fight anybody over what other symbols people are using.
No.
I use what I know relates to my beginnings, my ancestry. So for me, that's what holds water for me.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And talking about that, let's relate it to the spiritual conscious aspect of human nature and how symbols can actually open our minds to what goes beyond the human mind.
Yeah, because when you dwell on those things, it carries you back to where your people came from. And it holds a certain essence for you, that was captured at the time, that we lost because of certain things that had happened to us as a people. Okay? Yes. So you can't underrate the effect of those on you as a person. The spiritual, because spirituality is one of the things that is one of the major things that are captured in these symbols, especially. Spirituality is one. So when you study it closely, you realize that this formats your ideas on spirituality much better than anything else that you have been exposed to.
That's true.
So that's true. I think that if we as a people can focus on that, and begin to, introduce this into our education, we'll be transformed in a better direction than we are at the moment,
True. I totally believe and agree with you on that, because spirituality should be leading rather than the physical.
No doubt. No doubt.
So the paintings on the screen at the moment, I really love both of them. The one on the right hand side is a bit too complex for me. Can you break it down a little bit?
Well, you have to look at it closely because. Okay, fine. I mean, this I think I call Eden or something to that effect. I think so. Right. This I call Eden. And if you look at it closely, you'll be able to identify the reasons why it's hidden. I can't go further than that. I know that as soon as you begin to identify the things, the various units in the work, you know why it's being put together that way.
And as you're mentioning the word Eden, and explaining just a little bit, I'm beginning to see very clearly what you're talking about. It's amazing how you're able to portray these messages in a very coded way.
Well, with everything, you are inspired by something. There's always an inspiration behind this thing. So it just doesn't happen. as far as I'm concerned, because sometimes I finish the work and I wonder to myself, well, so how did this happen? Sometimes, I get to ask myself, so how did I,
how did you create it?
how did this happen? And then I leave it there because hey,
Right.
you don't question too much of that,
No.
that direction,
That's
you
right.
accept things as they come because that's how they're supposed to come. So they came to you that way.
And then
Why they didn't go, they didn't happen to another artist, I wouldn't know. Okay,
Yeah.
it happened to me, so I accept that and move on
And then
with it.
you put it out there.
Yes,
Right.
So-
We're going to read a few comments that are coming through. Salman Kwasi, a good friend of mine as well. And a good artist. I think
Oh,
he studied
Salman, I
under
know
you
Salman.
in the past. Yes.
I know Salman very well.
Great. He says that your ability of taking a blank canvas and telling us a story from your subconscious with no reference material is not a skill most artists possess. And then he goes on to say that everything I know about art is from this master, who are forever cherished and be thankful for all the lessons he gave me in the past. And then if we so that's from Salman.
Yes. Yeah.
So as you said, you've trained so many artists over the years.
I have, yeah.
That's right. What one lesson will you give a new artist who started today?
Like I said, I've always said this, that the most important thing I give to artists is for them to be themselves. I always give that to them. That being yourself is the most important thing, because that's what people relate to. People have to see you through your work.
Yes.
Your work is always an extension of yourself in people's homes. And if they have positive vibes about you, that is
your work right there.
Yes, So you have to be yourself first. Secondly, work at improving whatever skills God has blessed you with.
Okay.
You work at improving those skills. Stop looking at other people and thinking,
they're better than
because it's easy to fall by the wayside because you're looking at other people and thinking, actually, I can't get to this level. It's easy to fall by the wayside by doing that.
It's happened to me a few times. But sometimes when you get into that mode, it slows you down. You don't even want to paint.
It does. So this is if you can just, you can be selfish. I mean, nobody says selfish is not good. You can be selfish with your focus, your vision, and try to develop yourself as an artist and as a person, as a human being. That's what's important. There's no magic wand here. Everything you can achieve as an artist is within you. You can find it. You can only be guided by other people who have gone ahead of you. And that, but you can't. Everything else is within you. It's within you. Yeah. So you find it.
I mean, that's why I brought you on. These are wise words from a wise man. everything you want, is within you.
And it's easy to take that for granted because people don't really appreciate that. They think there's something else. There's a magic wand somewhere that somebody can help you with. But no, everything else you need to succeed as an artist is within you.
You have to dig deeper.
Yeah. So focus and find yourself.
And find yourself. So we need to focus and find ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, having mentioned the word focus, it draws me to my next question. In this world where there's so much distraction from social media, the internet, there's so many things. How do we focus as artists to really hone in on our craft?
But okay, I mean, yes, I agree that it can be a distraction. I agree that But hey, you look at the positives.
Okay.
Social media has its positives. The negatives. The negatives are there. But which one do you want to focus on? The negatives. Focus on the positives.
On the positive.
The distractions are there, yes, but there are positives in there. There are people who have actually used social media to advantage.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, there's no everything that happens to you as a person can be a tool that you can use to develop as an artist.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. Yes.
So hey, luckily, you know, social media or the internet has opened up the space for everybody. So the competition is out there. I mean, everybody is out there. So what do? Take advantage of the situation and look at the positives that it can offer you and move yourself out there.
That's true.
You know, it's true. There's nothing that should stop you. You are in control. You should be in charge of yourself.
Of yourself.
You know,
Of yourself,
and see social media as a tool. Okay,
Exactly.
the moment you see that as a tool, it shouldn't distract you. No,
It will
it's just a
rather
tool.
empower you,
When you need,
showcase
yes,
what you got.
what you've got.
yes, when you need it, you go to it. When you don't need it, shut it out. But
Exactly.
that control is within you.
Mm.
Nobody can give that to you. It's within you. Like I said, everything that you need is within you.
It's within
You
you.
know?
It's within you.
Yes, you know, you can utilize social media to advantage. So it's not all that bad. It's not that all bad. You know.
That's great.
That's
Very
That's very encouraging.
Because a lot of people get lost in just scrolling and looking at other people's works and not really going to the studio to touch your brush.
Yeah, and that's not worth it. If you
Exactly.
need inspiration, social media is there to give you inspiration, but don't dwell on it.
Don't dwell on it.
Don't dwell on it.
Don't dwell on it.
Don't dwell on
We've got a good comment from Anne Blackson, a good friend of mine, a good friend of yours, of course. He says, greetings,
always,
my old friend.
My old friend.
Yeah.
Anne goes on to say that social media is such a useful tool that can be such and unless you learn to
control it.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
That's true.
Thanks, Anne.
This
is very useful.
Right,
so I'd like us to round up with a few of your works, and then just talk about one more piece, and then we will move on. And the one on the right hand side has got a lot of symbols, words. I can see the word Psalm 23 in there.
Yeah,
and then a few others. I know you can't delve into the detail, but this text or these symbols. I mentioned earlier on. Something that you have created. Is it something that you are able to repeat over and over?
No, you see,
a language.
This work I call testament, which means it's put together to give people, to prompt people to think in a certain direction, you know. So if you can find some of those quotes, then it can guide you. It can guide you, you know, in a way, you know. So I do some of these works to guide also, you know. So sometimes some of the works are to you know, they release me from all the tense, and you know, when you focus too much, you need some release as well, you know. So sometimes some of these ones release me from that, you know. So I do some of these works for that purpose.
Beautifully done. I mean, this morning when I looked at it, I couldn't really find anything or make sense out of it. That level that you explained. As soon as you did mention that look closer, there are a lot of words that are found in there that I can't believe are in there. So spirituality, life, do not destroy. There are so many words that I could find right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think the advice probably is for people to pay attention to pieces that artists put out there. Don't just glance and walk away.
It is important because these days you go to exhibitions and people are busy taking selfies with their backs turned to artworks.
That's true.
You know, And you see, it's unfortunate. I don't know why that has become, but hey, this is what
The world has come to, isn't it?
it has come to. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I mean, you can't begrudge the young ones this. This is where they are at. And they
I think we're losing Wiz, but we'll make sure that we get him back. His line just cut off a little bit. Let's make sure that we get him as soon as we can. So Wiz, if you're still there, let me know. Otherwise, what we will do is wait a little bit for you to reconnect. But there's a comment here that has come from Anne. And Anne is saying that my beef with social media is how much it demands of you. That is very true. Social media can take a lot of your time if you're not careful. So I think you should put through productivity apps that probably allows you to be able to turn off your social media at a certain time and then bring it back on when you need it. And have times that you commit to your creativity, your painting, or whatever else that you're doing in life. Have times for that. So we've got Wiz back. Hi, Wiz.
Yeah.
We lost you a little bit. But,
Yeah.
I was reading a comment from Anne, who is laughing at your comment that said, selfies with back to the artwork.
Yeah, but this is what has been happening, So I find it difficult to go to exhibitions because people are busy taking selfies in front of the work, so you can't even appreciate what is there. So
what is there?
What
is there?
Yeah.
That's
So I mean, I think that when people begin to, look, the artwork is that work will not necessarily. You don't have to like every artwork in an exhibition or any artwork you see. You don't have to like every one of them. But at the end of the day, if one of them even makes an impact, a small impact on you, take time to look at it. You never know what you learn. Because whatever we put out there is there to inspire somebody to do something.
Exactly.
For humanity. You understand?
Yes.
Whatever we put out there, something will spark something in somebody to, generate something for humanity. That's how important it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anne
says that he was expecting your comment from experience.
Yes.
I was appreciating your comment from experience.
That's great.
Well, thank you.
Great.
So
now, in terms of your legacy and the message that you want to leave this world, what is it? What do you want us to remember you for?
Interesting. If my work doesn't make you remember
in a very
me,
long distant future.
If my work doesn't make you remember me, then I don't know what else.
What else?
I'm just kidding.
No, but that is it. Your work speaks volumes.
If they don't make you remember me, then I don't know what else, because that's me out there all over the place. So yeah. Anyway,
I think you've answered it so perfectly well. If people want to reach you, where can they reach you? I've got your handles over here.
Yeah.
On social media, it's Wiz Kudowor.
Yeah.
Wiz. They can actually find you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Your website is www.wizkudowor.com
as well.
Yeah. It's not active now, but hey, we are working on it.
They should keep note of it.
Yes.
They should keep note of it.
Yeah.
Any last words before I let you go? I know I'm taking so much of your time, but we really appreciate what you have said today and the artworks that we've been experienced to see.
Well, I just want to say that, for those of us who feel like we are losing out, because I got a lot of comments from some people who are saying, "Oh, it looks like the young guys have taken over our field and all that." I want to say this: every generation decides what their art should be.
Right.
Every generation. It's happened throughout time, you know. So this is where we are at. This generation has established a certain rhythm for themselves, and they are going along with it. It shouldn't put you out of business because you have had a chance to establish yourself to a certain point.
Yes.
You should be able to, because you've done that, you should be able to build on what you have, because you already have your name out there, and you should build on it. You should keep doing what you do, because it's important that one day when the chips are down,
Yes.
you'll be remembered, you know. So don't lose it. Don't lose the thought. Just go with it.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Yes.
Just keep going.
You know.
Hey, we really appreciate your advice.
appreciate your advice.
One more question from Sherman. Have you got any
Have
shows
you got any
coming up for
shows
this
coming
year?
up for this year?
You know, I've slacked a bit with doing exhibitions,
Right.
because there are a couple of things that happened last year that has thrown me off guard. So I haven't planned anything. No, not at all. I haven't planned anything, but I'm focused on still putting some more work
Still putting
together.
the work.
Put in the work.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
In fact, that's
must
what's
do-
important for me. I don't work towards exhibitions.
Mm.
I put work together, and when I feel like it's time to show the world something, then I do.
The works are there.
The works are there.
The works
Yeah.
are there.
The works are there.
That is a
That is
very, very wise way of looking at things,
looking
and
at
you've
things,
really
and you've
encouraged me
really
to
encouraged me to
personally pursue the career of art in all its forms. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And
And
thank you for your
thank you
wise
for your
words
wise
to
words
our
to
viewers as well.
our viewers as well.
Thank you for having me. Thank
No,
you.
you're welcome.
No,
sir.
you're welcome, sir.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Great. Thank you. So, viewers, that was Master Wiz Kudowor, and I really appreciate his time. I really appreciate him coming to share very wise words with us today. If you want to see more of his work, as I showed you earlier, just go on his social media handles, and you would find more of his work. If his website becomes live as well, you'll find him over there. But guys, if you want to see more of these interviews, just subscribe to my YouTube channel as I bring you artists from the continent of Africa every single week. And you can subscribe by going to this YouTube channel. It's African Art with Eric. If you type in African Art with Eric on YouTube, you will be able to find me and see more of these interviews coming up every single day. And also, if you want to just follow me on my social media handles, just make sure that you use these handles on Facebook. On my artist webpage, it's ECAP Art 75, and on Instagram, I'm Eric by full name with _ Eric afterwards as well. But no, I really appreciate you being here this afternoon. There's one more comment. Let's have a look before we go. Anne says, thank you for that, Eric. Invite him again. Certainly, I need to invite Master Wiz because there's so much more that I wanted to ask him, but time will not permit us. And he's got so much depth within him that he can be here 5 more times and there are still wise words that he can give us. So thank you for joining us today and have a nice week. God bless you. God bless you. See you later.